How are we all doing? As you may or may not be aware, I am currently doing the Big Bethesda challenge. The goal of this challenge is to get 10,000 subscribers by platinuming as many Bethesda games as I can. The first part of this challenge is the Fallout side of things. I want to get this done before the show drops in December. So today I got the platinum on Fallout New Vegas. Now Fallout New Vegas is hailed as the greatest Fallout game of all time. I'm mad to think that it's nearly 15 years old. Anyway, the Fallout New Vegas Platinum Trophy consists of 51 trophies. It has all 4 endings involved in those trophies, and when I say this entire trophy was a grind, it was a grind, but it was a fun grind. So the story pretty much starts where our character gets shot in the face by Matthew Perry, God rest his soul.
From where you're kneeling must seem like an 18-carat run of bad luck. Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
You then pretty much wake up in a doctor's office and you get to create a character. Now I made a woman called Sven. It's 2025. Why wouldn't that be a thing? After doing all of that, you get to go and choose your special. Now the Fallout 3 video from the guide that I followed has a specific one. I use the same one in this video. Then you have to go through a series of tests where you look at some ink splodges on some bits of paper. And then you get given a bunch of stuff by Doc Mitchell. And he also then gives you the trophy. Ain't that a kick in the head? Before you head off out into Goodsprings. Now, because it's been a while since I actually sat and played Fallout New Vegas, I thought I'd go through the entire tutorial mission with Sunny Smiles again, where you have to go outside and shoot some Sunset Sarsaparilla bottles off of a fence line, is what I suppose you'd call it. After doing all of that, I went back over to Goodsprings to then go and have a chat with everyone, and they told me that a guy called Ringo needed help because he was on the run from a gang known as the Powder Gangers. So you go around and you have a chat with everybody at Goodsprings and try and get some help, ready to take on the leader Joe Cobb and a bunch of the people that he turns back up to Goodsprings with. Now that they've all been dealt with, this is where the real fun starts, and we have to make our way through the Mojave to try and get to the Strip. The first place we land upon is Prim, and once we go inside, we try and find out where the people that shot us in the face have gone, but we also are kind of tasked with giving them some sort of new law authority around Prim, so naturally I went over to Prim Slim and made him the sheriff of Prim.
Howdy, partner. Welcome to the... Law enforcement protocol was reinstated, partner. Initializing use of force authorization. Authorization found. Yeah! Happy trails, partner.
After leaving Prim, I carried on my journey and come across a place called Nipton that was taken over by the Legion. And then a guy called Oliver decided to come over to me and tell me that he'd won the lottery, but I was having none of it. And in true New Vegas fashion, that we ended his life.
I won the motherfucking lottery!
The next stop on my journey to the Strip was a place called Novak. So as I was saying, we arrive at Novak and we make our way into the main reception where we talk to Jeannie Mae Crawford and we ask if the people that shot us in the head had travelled through, and she tells us that they have, and that they went to go and speak to one of the guards named Manny, who guards Novak through the Dinky Dinosaur. I should also point out that it was this point I actually received another trophy, Crafty, for crafting 20 items, but my Elgato decided to have a meltdown. Thankfully, it was the only one it had during the recording of this. So after leaving the main reception, we went over to go and speak to Manny to see if he had seen the people that had shot us in the head travel through Novak. He told us they had, but before he wanted to give us any information as to who they were or where they'd gone, he needed a favour from us. We needed to go to the Repcon test site and deal with a bunch of ghouls who had decided to move in there. Then that also gives us the quest to come fly with me. Arriving at the test site, I'd started taking out the ghouls around the outside until I moved on to the inside, where I met up with a strange ghoul called Jason Bright. Now, in all my time playing Fallout, I don't think I've ever come across a glowing one who can still function normally like a person. It's kind of strange, but anyway, he tells me that he wants to go on a journey to the great beyond, so basically he wants to be launched into space using the rockets at the test site, but he can't do it because of the demons downstairs. Now the demons downstairs are actually the Nightkin. The Nightkin are just grey super mutants that have basically got schizophrenia because of the fact that they use stealth boys. So after dealing with the Nightkin and collecting a few items that they needed for their launch, Jason Bright and his followers were ready to launch the rocket. With the unsuccessful launch of the rockets, I then got my next trophy, Come Fly With Me. So after completing all of that, I went over to Boulder City, where I actually met up with the two great Khans that were with Benny when he shot me in the face. And they told me that I'd find Benny on the Strip, and then that gave me the trophy. They went that away. Then I quickly went back to Novak and got approached by a guy called Malcolm Holmes, who was telling me about these blue star bottle caps that you find on the Sunset Sarsaparilla bottles, and I needed to collect 50 of them for a trophy later on in the game. Shortly after that, I got another trophy, Old Buddy Old Pal, for recruiting my first companion. Then I made my way over to Freeside, where I went over to the Atomic Wrangler, where I got my next 3 trophies: One Arm Bandit, Little Wheel and Double Down. One Arm Bandit for playing 10 games of slots, Little Wheel for playing 10 games on the roulette wheel, and Double Down for playing 10 hands of blackjack. My next trophy after that was for reaching level 10. Luckily in New Vegas, you only get 3 trophies for leveling up because they don't have the karma system level trophies, so that's always a godsend. With all of that now being over and done with, it was time for me to tackle the strip and go and confront Benny as to why he shot me in the head, and to try and get back the platinum chip. Now it was at this point as well that I'd realised I'd made a mistake. Whilst going through all of my speech checks with Benny, I went through and chose all of the wrong options, and then managed to end up getting left in the presidential suite on my own.
Here's the key to the Prez. I'll see you there in 2 shakes. Ta-ta.
Scramsville, baby. The strip and you part ways, dig? You come around me again, you won't be getting back up.
So after leaving the presidential suite, I made my way over to Benny's suite to try and have a little look around. Well, this is where I come across Yes Man, and he gave me the trophy Ring-a-Ding-Ding. This now started the wild card quest for the Yes Man ending. So now that I got Ring-a-Ding-Ding and already messed up my run, it was time to go and start doing a load of side missions and go and get a bunch of the side trophies that aren't in any way, shape or form related to the main story. The first side mission I started with was GI Blues, where I had to go and speak to Imitation Elvis. For the first half of this quest, the king sends me off to go and hire a bodyguard named Oris, who has been stealing work from the kings, and find out why people were hiring him as their bodyguard. But we quickly found out that he was just a fake and a fraud, and that he was just using his friends to play possum so he could extort money out of people. The second half of this quest involves me going to speak with the NCR because they have been handing out food to the locals and the residents of Freeside. But this goes against what the king wants, so he wants me to go and deal with it. I went over to the train yard and started unloading into the NCR by throwing grenades at them, putting an end to their illegal supply handout. So once all of that was dealt with, the king was in my debt, but he did give me the trophy GI Blues.
Make it happen. It's done.
So now having dealt with the king, I decided to go on an adventure to go and get the next trophy for finding 50 locations. Next up, I wanted to tackle all of the 10k trophies. So to start this off, I went to a place called The Thorn. It's just a battle arena where you can go and fight different enemies. Obviously, I chose 3 rad scorpions at a time. This is a bit of a grind, but the next set of trophies I got were Lead Dealer for dealing 10k with guns, Glove the Bomb for dealing 10k damage with explosives. Then I got the gangs all here without even getting Arcade Gannon as one of my companions, which was a bit weird, but it is what it is. Then leveled up to level 20, then got Blast Mastery, then I got Jury Rigger, Old Time Brawler, New Vegas Samurai, Simply Amazing, and Desert Survivalist. So with the majority of the grindy trophies out of the way, I decided to go and tackle Helios 1 and get that back online for the NCR. And with all that back online, that gave me the trophy That Lucky Old Son. After doing all of that, I decided that it was time to jump headfirst into doing Caravan. Now, Caravan is actually quite an easy game once you get into doing it. All you've got to do is make all your cards add up to 26. I thought it was going to be difficult because all the time I've tried to play it before, couldn't get my head around it. Watched a little guide on YouTube, can't remember which one it was, otherwise I'd link it below. It was quite easy, and I don't know if having high luck had anything to do with it, but smashed out 2 of the trophies there, Caravan Master, and then got the trophy Know When to Fold Them, which by the way is an absolute banger of a song. After conquering Caravan, it was time to head over to the Nellis Air Force Base, where I could converse with the locals, being the Boomers. So to get the trophy Valare, you have to go around and help the Boomers around their site by doing different individual little tasks. When you're done with the tasks, you go and speak to Loyal. He's also one of the leaders over at the Nellis Air Force Base, and he tasks you with going to get a B-29 off the bottom of Lake Mead. Once you've done that, you head back to the Nellis Air Force Base, go and speak to Loyal. He's quite happy that you've done this for him. You then go and speak to Pearl, and then Pearl gives you the trophy Valari. I should also mention that once you've done this, you can actually see the B-29 flying over Hoover Dam during the Battle of Hoover Dam at the end of the game. Then I got my next trophy, Outstanding Orator, for passing 50 speech checks, followed by No Tumbler Fumbler for picking 25 locks. I then got Legend of the Star for finding 50 blue star bottle caps on bottles of Sunset Sarsaparilla. Now when you do this initially, it will tell you that you have failed the mission, but then they give you another one that you have to go into the back storage room to collect your prize for finding the 50 blue star caps, and that's when the trophy decides it's going to pop. The next 2 trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocketing 50 people. Now there is an exploit to this where you go to Vault 21, pickpocket Sarah, but make sure that you save the game after every pickpocket, because if you fail, you can reload the save and then carry on again like it was nothing. This did take me about an hour altogether, but it literally is just very luck based at the end of the day. Then the one I got after that was Globetrotter, for finding all of the snow globes scattered throughout the map. But pickpocketing 50 people. Now there is an exploit to this where you want pickpocket Sarah, you can reload the save and then carry on. 2 trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocketing. And then finally I hit level 30 and got the trophy for that as well. I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocketing 50 people. Now there is an exploit to this where you go to Vault 21, pickpockets. Make sure that you save the game after every... You can reload the save. Carry on again like it was nothing. An hour altogether, but it literally got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pocketing 50 people. You go to Vault 21. Trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocketing 50 people. Now there is an exploit to this where you go to Vault 21, pickpocket Sarah, but make sure that you get every pickpocket, because if you fail, you can reload the save, carry on again like it was nothing. The next 2 trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocketing 50 people. Now there is an exploit to this where you go to Vault. Next 2 trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocketing 50 people. Now there is an exploit to this where you go to Vault 21, pickpocket Sarah, but make sure that you save. You can reload the save and then carry on again like it was nothing. The next 2 trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocketing 50. Next 2 trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocketing 50 people. Now there is an exploit to this where you go to Vault 21, pickpocket Sarah, but make sure that you... The next 2 trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocketing 50 people. Now there is an exploit to this where you go to Vault 21, pickpocket Sarah, but make sure that you pocket, because if you fail, you can read it. This is the one for pickpocketing 50 people. Now there is an exploit to this where you go to Vault 21, pickpocket Sarah, but make sure that you save the game after every... Because if you fail, you can reload the save and then carry on again like it was nothing. This did take me about an hour altogether, but it literally is just very... The next 2 trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for 50 people. Now there is this where you go to Vault 21, pickpocket Sarah, but make you save. Now there is an exploit to this where you go to Vault. Next 2 trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocketing 50 people. Now there is an exploit to the Vault 21, pickpocket Sarah, but make the game after every pickpocket, because if you fail, because I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocket Sarah, but make sure that you save the game after every pickpocket, because if you fail... The next 2 trophies I got were Artful for pickpocketing 50 people. Now there is an exploit to this where you go pickpocket Sarah, but make sure that you save the game after every pickpocket, because if you fail... The next 2 trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for 50 people. Now there is an exploit to this where you go pickpocket Sarah, or that you save the... and then carry on again like it was nothing. This did take an hour altogether, but it literally aced at the end of the day. Then the one I got after that was Globetrotter, for finding all of the snow globes. The next 2 trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one pickpocketing 50 people. Now there is an exploit to this where you go to Vault 21, Sarah, but make sure that you save the game after every pickpocket, because if you fail, you can reload the save and then carry... The next 2 trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocketing 50 people. Now there is an exploit to this where you go to Vault 21, pickpocket Sarah, but make sure that you... I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocketing 50 people. Now there is an exploit to this where you go to Vault 21, Sarah, but make sure that you save the game after every pickpocket, because if you fail, you can reload the save and then carry on again like it was nothing. This did take me about an hour altogether. It literally is just very luck based at the end of the day. Then the one I'm finding all of the snow globes scattered throughout the map. The next two trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocketing 50 people. Now, there isn't pickpockets error, but make sure that you save and then carry on again like it was nothing. This did take me about an hour or so. It literally is just very luck-based. The one I got after that was Globetrotter for finding all of the snow globes scattered throughout the map. The next two trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocketing 50 people. Now, there is an exploit to this where you go to Vault 21, pickpockets error, but make sure that you've the game after every pickpocket, because if you fail, you can reload the save and then carry on again like it was nothing. About hour or so. Luck-based day. Then the one I got after that was Trotter for finding all of the snow globes scattered throughout the map. The next two trophies I got, this is the one pickpocketing 50 people. Now, the next two trophies I got were Artful Pocketer. This is the one for pickpocketing 50 people. Now, there is an exploit to this where you go to Vault 21. There's an exploit to this where you go to Vault 21, pickpockets error, but make sure that you save the game after every pickpocket, because if you fail, you can reload the save and then carry on again like it was nothing. This took about an hour altogether, but it literally is just very... The one I got after that was Globetrotter.